Welcome back to Cash Therapy.
Yeah.
Close your eyes for a second.
Yeah.
Try to remember the last time you Googled a simple question,
Not for fun, but for a real need, and got a clear, concise answer in the first 3 links.
You can't, can you?
The internet feels different.
It feels broken.
Yeah.
It feels polluted.
Today, we are having a funeral for the good internet. We're diagnosing the fatal disease, AI-induced content toxicity.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Welcome back. Welcome, truly, to Cash Therapy Official. Now, we are usually here to talk about, the mechanisms of wealth, the psychology of spending.
How to stop lighting your money on fire.
Exactly. But today, we're addressing something a bit more foundational. Because, let's be honest, if your mind is filled with toxic garbage, you just can't make good decisions. Not with your money, not with your career, not with anything.
Right.
So we are going deep on the one place we all go for answers, right? The internet.
And this is a big one.
It really is. I'm calling today's deep dive the Great Digital Autopsy. Because, and I'm not really kidding here, we're hosting a memorial service. We're here to bury the open web as a reliable source of information.
It sounds dramatic, but it's where the evidence is pointing.
It really is. Okay, I want you to do a quick, maybe slightly depressing mental experiment with me. Try to recall the last time, and be really honest here. You Googled something truly niche or technical, something that required real expertise, and you got a clear, concise, and just utterly trustworthy answer within the first, say, 3 links. Not a summary, not a bulleted list, a real expert-level answer.
It's getting harder and harder to remember, isn't it?
It's basically gone. And that moment, you realize that feeling of discovery is gone, replaced by this overwhelming sense that the whole ecosystem is just polluted, that the internet is fundamentally broken. That's the moment we can start our therapy session today.
And that feeling, it isn't just you being annoyed. It's not a digital nuisance. It's the direct result of a systematic economic breakdown that's been, it's been turbocharged by this new technology.
So this deep dive really is the autopsy for the good internet.
Exactly. And we're here to deliver the fatal diagnosis, and it's based on all the sources we've looked at. It's AI-induced content toxicity.
Wow.
For decades, we were promised this global library, a utopia where expertise was democratized for everyone.
I remember that promise.
We all do. And now, we are standing in the middle of a digital landfill. That whole idea that any curious question would be met with a reliable answer, it's officially dead. And the core reason for its demise, is purely financial.
And the source material we pulled together for this, I want to be clear, it's not some fringe paranoid theory.
No, not at all.
It's a clinical diagnosis, really, of this catastrophic collapse of informational value online. And if you're wondering why we're talking about this on Cash Therapy Official, well, just look at the title of our deep dive. Are AI investments a shell game?
And the core problem is frighteningly simple, and it answers that question directly. The basic economic reason to create quality content, content that takes human time, nuance, real skill, actual experience, that incentive has completely collapsed.
Gone.
And at the same time, the incentive to create high-volume, keyword-rich SEO sludge has just exploded, all to capture a bit of algorithmic attention.
And then what piece of tech shows up at the perfect time to mass produce that sludge at basically zero cost?
Artificial intelligence.
It's the perfect scalable tool for digital pollution. The sources we're looking at suggest the real money isn't even in using the content. The money is in selling the shovels to all the people who are desperate to start shoveling this digital garbage onto the web.
That's the shell game. Our mission today is to bring some clarity here. We're going to unpack this content toxicity, we'll diagnose the economic betrayal underneath it all, and then, most importantly, offer some therapeutic defense mechanisms.
We want you to stop drowning in the digital sewage. It's time to start building your own trusted sources of information again.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack this toxicity. We should probably start with how search engines were even supposed to work in the first place. I think a lot of us just assume they're, passive organizers.
All right, like a card catalog. But that's not it at all. They were designed to be highly aggressive curators.
Aggressive curators, I like that.
Think about it. The historical function of a search engine like Google was to be a massive filtration system, not just an indexer. It was engineered to bring you the best 1% of content available on any given topic.
This was a sieve.
A giant sieve, yeah. 99% of the noise was supposed to be instantly discounted because it didn't meet the standards for authority or relevance or quality. Yeah, its fundamental job was quality control.
Okay, but here's the challenge I have with that, and I think a lot of our listeners do too. We've been through SEO wars before, right?
Yeah.
We had content farms, low-paid writers trying to game the system since, what, the early 2010s?
Oh yeah, for a long time.
We've had low-quality content forever. So why is this AI noise so fundamentally catastrophically worse than the old-school garbage we used to deal with?
That is an excellent and absolutely necessary distinction to make. The difference is scale, speed, and cost structure. It all comes down to the economics. Old SEO garbage had friction. You had to hire people, you had to pay them by the word, train them on keywords. It took time. If 1,000 articles cost you, say, $10,000 and took 2 weeks, that set a manageable ceiling on the pollution.
There was a cost to creating the garbage.
A very real cost. But the current situation, the one described in our sources, is that all that friction is just gone. It's eliminated. Imagine that 99% of the entire digital water supply is instantly flooded. Not over 2 winds, but in a matter of hours.
Way.
And AI allows one single person operating at zero marginal cost for production to generate what used to take 1,000 content farm workers a month to produce. The machine is just so overwhelmed by noise that its core function, that filtration system, it just breaks down.
So we're dealing with what you could call a content virus. The efficiency gain isn't in quality, it's purely in the volume of junk being produced. We hear these terms like AI hyperproductivity.
Right, sounds great.
It sounds great. But we have to be really clear about what that actually looks like in practice. If a publisher's goal is just to satisfy an algorithm to get traffic and not, satisfy humans' actual intellectual need, then AI is an unbelievable tool.
It's perfect for that one specific goal.
Perfect. It lets a publisher produce 10 times the amount of content articles, product reviews, whatever, in 1/10 of the time.
And that is the hyperinflation of garbage. It's like quantitative easing for digital content. When the cost to mint a new article drops to basically zero, the value of all articles, good and bad, just deflates.
It all becomes worthless.
Pretty much. And since the economic incentive is purely to capture that algorithmic attention, the fastest, cheapest path to that goal is always going to be garbage.
So let's get into the specifics, the anatomy of this AI sludge. Because it's not just bad writing, is it?
Oh no, it's highly optimized bad writing. It's content written by an AI primarily to, and this is the key phrase, sound confident enough to fool the algorithm. It uses perfect syntax, it hits all the right keyword densities, it has a logical structure.
It has that tone of bland, vague authority.
Exactly. It's the perfect mimicry of information, but with zero substance inside.
So what kind of content is most at risk here? Is it just general knowledge stuff, or is it getting into niche expertise too?
It ruthlessly targets the high-traffic transactional content first. Think of any listicle, right? 7 best ways to clean your garage, or 10 tips for better time management.
Stuff I see every day.
Of course. AI excels at aggregating, summarizing, and just restructuring common knowledge that it finds in the top 10 search results it's already seen.
But what's missing? What's the human element that's gone?
What's critically missing is nuance. It's the crucial edge case, the human experience, the specific hard-won insight that you're actually searching for. An AI can't tell you about that one weird trick that only comes from 10 years of wrenching on an engine.
Or 5 years mastering some complex coding language.
Precisely. It only respins the data it was trained on. And this is the scary part. Increasingly, that training data includes previous AI-generated sludge. Yeah. It's creating this horrifying feedback loop of optimized mediocrity.
That feedback loop is genuinely terrifying. It means the machine is becoming perpetually less intelligent because it's just eating its own tail, it's training on itself.
It's a closed system spiraling downward.
And this leads directly to the search breakdown. For the user, for you. When the entire market, the whole digital world, is saturated with this perfectly optimized, confident-sounding garbage, the search engines just become fundamentally confused.
Their whole purpose was to find the signal in the noise.
But if the noise is indistinguishable from the signal at that kind of scale, the sieve just breaks.
It does. The search engine can no longer effectively tell the difference between the authentic human voice of an expert, which might be, poorly formatted, sitting on some old blog full of typos, but packed with unique insight.
Right, the messy human stuff.
And the perfectly formatted high-volume sound of a bot that has optimized every last meta tag and subtitle. The bot looks better to the algorithm.
Can you give me a concrete example of that?
Sure. Let's say you're searching for a specific, non-standard bolt for a 1985 European car part. A human expert would explain, look, you can't buy that new. You need to retrofit a B-Series M10 bolt, but you have to use this specific washer, which I've linked to right here.
Super specific, valuable information.
Exactly. The AI will give you 5 beautifully formatted pages titled Best Practices for Automotive Fasteners. Utterly useless information that wastes your time and, more importantly, destroys your trust in the system.
So when the noise level exceeds the signal level, the filter fails. And the person trying to learn something is just left feeling completely betrayed by that original digital promise.
That's the core of the toxicity.
I think we just need a moment to let that sink in. I had this exact breakdown last week. I was trying to find a torque specification for an old European engine.
Oh, I know this feeling.
And all I got were 5 pages telling me to consult a professional mechanic or always use a torque wrench, according to the manufacturer's guide. The actual number, the specificity was gone. And I felt that digital distrust instantly. Okay, so we've established that toxicity is real. Now we need to pivot to the economic betrayal. This is where we answer our core question: why AI investments are behaving like a shell game.
Right.
And why this collapse matters beyond just being annoying. It matters because the people who create real meaningful value, the true experts, are being systematically buried and, frankly, financially destroyed.
This is the painful economic reality check. We have to look at the creator's dilemma. Imagine a high-value creator who spent a decade mastering a hyper-niche skill. Let's say a woodworking expert on historical techniques.
Okay.
And then they spend weeks writing one single high-quality, meticulously researched article detailing these complex techniques, a real labor of love and expertise.
A masterpiece of
A
gunnery.
masterpiece. And that singular high-value piece of human labor is now being outranked, out-indexed, and out-trafficked by 50 AI-generated pages.
50.
50. And these pages just respin the same general data scraped from other low-effort summaries with zero original thought, zero unique perspective, and absolutely zero credibility.
And the brutal reason for that is that the 50 garbage pages satisfy the algorithm's need for volume and optimization better than the one good article. The algorithm rewards effortlessness at scale.
It does, and this is what creates what the sources are calling the value gap. Historically, the open web model was built on a simple premise. Traffic was the reward for quality.
Right, good content got you clicks.
And those clicks led to ad impressions or affiliate sales, or you could build an audience that you could eventually sell a course or a book to.
A virtuous cycle.
It was. But if high-quality, high-effort content is no longer rewarded with traffic, because it's buried under an avalanche of junk creators suddenly lose their economic reason to produce it for free, the entire monetization structure of the open internet just grinds to a halt.
So the creator's left with a pretty painful choice.
A terrible choice. They can either take that decade of expertise and hide it behind a paywall, charge a subscription, or they just stop writing altogether. They retire that expertise from the public digital world.
And that, right there, is how this content deluge creates a new, unintentional paywall. The open web, which was sold to us as the great equalizer of knowledge, has been rendered useless by all this toxicity. The free information layer has become so unreliable, so polluted, that it just stops functioning as a source of education.
And for the learner, the consequence is stark. The only viable way to get real, verifiable, valuable information is now to bypass the search engines completely and pay a human expert directly.
You have to subscribe to the newsletter.
You have to enroll in the course, join the private community. The free layer is now a digital landfill, and you just can't trust anything you pull out of it.
This realization is the core of the whole shell game thesis, isn't it?
It is. The business model of the open web is collapsing because the cost of faking expertise is zero.
Let's really drill down on this shell game metaphor because it's so important for understanding where the money is actually going. When investors pour billions into AI, specifically these large language models, they're investing in the production capability. They're buying the factory.
Right, the ability to generate content at scale.
But the factory's product is content. And if that content, when it's deployed, systematically destroys the value of the environment it operates in, the open internet, which is both the training data and the distribution platform, then what have they actually bought?
They've bought a highly efficient, self-cannibalizing machine.
Wow.
The AI shell game works because content creators feel forced to pay for the tools, the AI services, because they believe volume is the only way left to compete. So the tool providers profit from the volume, not the quality.
They're selling shovels to miners who are digging a pit that their own valuable content is falling into.
That's a perfect analogy. The irony is just profound. Investors are funding the destruction of the very ecosystem, the searchable free web that their own search and advertising platforms need to survive.
It's an unsustainable bubble built on content that has no long-term human value. The value isn't in what's being produced, It's in the tools being sold to produce the stuff that ultimately kills the whole value chain.
Precisely.
But I have to push back a little here, because you hear a lot of experts say, oh, the algorithm will adapt, Google will figure out how to filter the AI sludge, just like they filtered the old SEO sludge. Why is this collapse permanent? Why isn't it just a temporary bug?
Because the permanence is rooted in the cost structure, not in the algorithm. In the old SEO wars, even if Google released an update like Panda or Penguin that destroyed a content farm, that content farm still had significant sunk costs. They paid for payroll, for time, they had to rebuild their strategy, and that took more capital.
Again, there was a cost to playing the game.
A real cost. Today, when an algorithmic update destroys the ranking of AI-generated content, the publisher loses $0 on production. They just hit regenerate with a slightly different prompt and upload 10,000 new articles instantly, ready to test the new boundaries.
The velocity of regeneration outpaces the velocity of the fix.
Exactly. The cost of faking expertise remaining at zero means the incentive to pollute is overwhelming and it's persistent. It never goes away.
So we can't just wait for the search engines to fix themselves. It's a battle they fundamentally cannot win because their opponent's operating costs are zero.
That realization is so important for the learner. If the library is poisoned, you have to leave the library.
You can't just hope someone else fixes the system.
No. The learner has to adapt their behavior immediately. We have to move from just diagnosing the poisoned well to taking the practical steps to build your own fresh water supply.
And that's what we call the therapy. This is fundamentally a battle for your cognitive health.
Yeah.
If we don't actively protect our minds from this low-effort, distracting digital colonization, we lose the ability to think critically.
We lose the ability to make informed decisions.
Exactly. The machine is trying to colonize your mind with these generalized, optimized concepts. And it establishes them as truth just through sheer volume and a confident tone. So the therapy is about building an immediate, active defense mechanism against this digital landfill.
It requires a fundamental shift in how you interact with information online.
Okay, so what's the first step?
Strategy number 1. Stop trusting generic authority. This is the first and most critical rule of survival in this new world. You have to approach every piece of information, especially anything from a search engine, with intense default skepticism.
Assume it's fake until proven otherwise.
Basically, yes. The primary goal of AI sludge is to generalize while sounding very confident. Your job is to look for the exceptions, the specific details, the fingerprints of real human effort.
I love that phrase, fingerprints of humanity. And the rule of thumb from our sources is a good one. If an article reads like it could have been written by anyone, it was, by an AI.
So what are those fingerprints? What should people look for?
Well, they're the idiosyncratic details. They're typos, they're slightly awkward but passionate tangents, clear signs of high-effort research, like actual citations or embedded charts that aren't just stock images.
And I would add, the willingness of the author to contradict the general consensus because they have real specific experience in the field. AI optimizes for correctness and generality.
Humans optimize for insight and uniqueness.
Critical thinking is no longer an advanced skill for academics. It's now a basic requirement for consuming online content. If an article gives you a perfectly generic 5-step plan for a complex problem, assume it's sludge.
You have to seek out the messiness.
Yeah.
Because messy means human.
Exactly.
Okay, what's strategy number 2?
Curate your niche. Since the global information supply is poison, you have to actively retreat and build a smaller, more controlled information environment. The solution isn't trusting the global platform, Google, Bing, whatever. It's in human connection and meticulous curation.
So you're building your own small, trusted circle of human experts, verified forums, niche sites, professional newsletters. You're building a guarded garden.
You're moving from being a passive consumer, just taking whatever the ocean washes ashore, to actively tending a resource you control. It's a filter-first mentality.
What does that look like in practice?
For technical topics, it might mean paying for 3 specialized newsletters instead of relying on free blog searches. For professional development, it could mean joining a private Slack or Discord where membership is verified and reputation is enforced by actual human moderators.
We have to recognize that the only way to fix the signal-to-noise ratio is to dramatically limit the scope of your search to places you already trust.
You're moving from the I search, the answer appears model to the I know who to ask and I'll pay for their time model.
That sounds harder, but it feels like the only real path forward. You have to stop wandering the poison wilderness and start finding where the reliable sources have retreated to.
They haven't vanished.
They've just moved behind new barriers of cost, of expertise, of community validation.
Okay, and finally, the most actionable one. Strategy number 3.
Search engines as filters, not oracles. This means changing your search tactics completely. Stop just typing keywords and expecting a definitive, vetted answer delivered from on high. That role is dead.
So what do we do instead?
We have to use the search engine to find community, not just keywords. Your search query should no longer be just a question. It should be a command to locate a human conversation.
This is the immediate fix you can start using today. When you have a complex or nuanced question, don't just ask the question. Search for Reddit or Hacker News or the name of a specific forum alongside your question.
Right. So for example, instead of searching best way to invest in municipal bonds, which will get you 5 optimized AI listicles,
You search Investing Municipal Bonds, Reddit Discussion 2024. Why does this work so well?
because it forces the search engine to inject a requirement for real, messy human context into the results. You get discussion, you get counterarguments, you get validation. You are prioritizing the conversation among humans over the perfectly polished, dead-sounding AI summary.
You're using the search engine to find the conversation about the topic, not just the topic itself.
There are other advanced tactics, too. If you know a specific expert is trustworthy, use the cite function to restrict your search to only their domain. You're leveraging the search engine's power, but bypassing the polluted results.
This is a tactical defense that accepts the new economic reality. When the cost of faking expertise is 0, the real value has to be found in the cost of human interaction and verification.
Right. Reddit threads, dedicated forums, they provide messy, contradictory, but crucially authentic human experiences that AI sludge just avoids because it's hard to optimize for that.
So to bring it all together, the big conclusion from our sources is this. We are not primarily victims of AI technology itself. We are victims of the economic incentive to pollute.
The technology is just a highly efficient delivery mechanism for the corruption.
And acknowledging that the open internet, as we knew it, is dead. That is the essential therapeutic first step toward building something better for ourselves.
So to just briefly synthesize the diagnosis and the cure, the massive zero-cost inflation of content has destroyed the reward system for quality. It's forced real expertise behind paywalls or into smaller communities.
And the survival strategy?
The survival strategy is active personal curation, intense critical skepticism, and tactically seeking out that messy human context.
That is the core ethos here, and it gives us a clear mandate for how we have to move forward. We're here on Cash Therapy Official because we know that clean information is the bedrock of good decision-making. You need it to fix anything. Your finances, your career, your future.
If your mind is swimming in optimized digital garbage, you are constantly making decisions based on optimized mediocrity.
And that leads us to the final provocative thought we want to leave you with. This is the macro level question that's driving this whole collapse.
Right. If the incentive structure collapses every single time AI makes production cheaper, if the return on high-effort content drops to 0, where will any original high-effort content come from in 5 years, regardless of the topic?
That's a chilling question.
The open web relied on this complex ecosystem where free effort was rewarded with traffic. If that loop is permanently broken, the future of knowledge becomes much smaller, much more centralized, and crucially, a lot more expensive. It's only accessible to those willing and able to pay to get past the digital landfill.
So there you have it. The library is officially on fire. And waiting for the fire department, waiting for Google to fix its algorithm, that is not a viable strategy for survival.
Survival is now a personal defensive act.
It's an active curation. So if you are ready to admit the state of the internet, if you're ready to stop drowning in this content deluge, and if you're ready to start building a better curated defense mechanism for your own mind and your own decision-making,
then you know what to do.
then we urge you to subscribe to Cash Therapy Official. We'll keep bringing the clinical diagnoses and the necessary defense strategies. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the collapse of the open web. We'll see you next time.